I tweeted something earlier, which I appreciate was slightly provocative, which was about the idea of nurses striking at children's hospitals, so Alder Hey and Great Ormond Street, saying that I think that's morally unconscionable. What's your view about that? There are other hospitals maybe they could strike at, or other ways of making their point heard. When it comes to striking at children's hospitals in the run-up to Christmas, your view?
Well, to be honest, all non-urgent operations and outpatient appointments are going to be postponed, and chemotherapy and dialysis, that's going to be postponed. But we are working on a bank holiday level of staffing where we've got a thing called the life-saving care model, and that is where certain areas of strike are exempt from strike, and urgent therapeutic services, and that would include children's, and urgent diagnostic and assessment services, they'll still be running as well. It does feel a bit morally wrong to have strikes when you're a nurse, but sadly, I'm not striking. I'll make that clear right now. And I feel like a bit of a, I don't know, I feel like I'm a bit spineless in a way because I just can't bring myself to do it. I can't go on strike. Some of my colleagues are and some of them aren't. That's fine. But I am going to support the nurses' strike, Patrick, because at the moment we're working on really low staffing levels. It's really difficult. I'm not personally, but I know nurses that are. They're doing 13-hour shifts. They're absolutely shattered. They're getting agency staff to cover the gaps.
Yeah, and they're paying them more.
Not just that, they might not be experienced in that particular area.
Well,
so we have to kind of train them up as well. And it takes time. Everybody's burnt out. The pay's not attractive. We're not recruiting staff. There's a load of reasons why we need to go on strike, because if we don't go on strike, things are going to get worse.
I understand this, and this herein lies the dilemma, which is that, well, if you are going to have your demands listened to, let alone met, you need to do something pretty serious in order to create a situation where that happens. And I understand all of that. I get all of that. And I also understand that withdrawing your labour as a nurse, even though you're not going to do it, does mean that, well, you're not going to be a nurse. You're not going to be on the ward or whatever you're doing. And I get that. I've got to be honest with you, where I really draw the line is in relation to the children's hospital stuff. And, OK, I'm sure that there will be provisions made, but as a straightforward matter of fact, surely it means that some children will not be getting the kind of care or treatment, or at least are at risk of not getting the kind of care or treatment as they otherwise would. Is that true?
It's like that now, without us being on strike, because there aren't enough nurses to run the wards. I heard a man earlier on your programme on the news, but when you were interviewing them, he'd had to wait 4 hours. It's because there's not enough nurses. That's the problem. And that is just going to continue on until we do something about it. And the only way seems to... The government aren't listening to our advice. Who was it? Dame Helen Stokes-Lampard. She brought out a report a few weeks ago called Fixing the NHS Report. And in that report, she said we must stop normalising the unacceptable. And that's what we're actually doing right now.